I am silent because I cannot tell lies and no one can hear the truth. The truth is that all those who are representing are all these only from the point of view of the intellect, which ends with death. All the misconceptions have been spread, only the devil smart artists, the vicious crooks, who have been intelligent with intelligence, have been spread only by the personalities of the past. There is nothing in reality. There is no place for the reflection of the infinite micro-axis of myself, which is just a business pretense. Drama, illusion, hypocrisy, only simple, easy people. In order to earn fame, reputation, wealth, wealth, crores of stories have been erected on the basis of conspiracies to prove their statements clearly on the basis of conspiracies, which in reality has no existence. From the deep contemplation of 35 years, it has been clearly proved that no one can be a hypocritical cunning artist like a hypocritical cunning artist like the personalities of the past, who is famous for fame, reputation, fame. Daulat Beg himself in the words of the Lord. Fear has been used only to confuse people by affecting the simple, which is only a blind faith. Fanaticism is the only evil practice. By being wise from the living intellect, whoever can understand, undoubtedly, no one in reality means anything. Intellect is one of the main dimensions for life, which is always limited to first self, second word object biology meditation knowledge is only a source. Just to understand here, my breath and time were completely present in its own permanent stay. I am. Time thinking is not at all. The past and the future are fairer than myself. Without understanding yourself, fairness cannot come. Without fairness, one cannot be free from important egoism, but the gurus would have done a lot. Just as celibacy chanting, renunciation of Vairagya yoga practice is not understood only, so they always remain in the ego, which arises only by thinking, contemplation. Only one ego makes you realize the existence of yourself, which is a reason to establish dominance in itself, whereas the human species has the same everything which is present in the remaining millions of other species. Shiva has passed very closely to the last dimension of each intelligence while in the approach of the intellect, And it is understood that nothing has been found that has been described by the personalities of the past in the books, all that is a lie. I always live in reality. Ever since man has come into existence in the whole creation, I am the only one who is alive in reality, always with his real introduction in his infinite micro-axis but here there is no place for the reflection of my infinite micro-axis. And there is no way to be something. In order to understand oneself, one has to end the existence of one's own intelligence, which is possible only one possibility of understanding, like life on Earth, the smallest planet of only one solar system in millions of universes. It is possible to happen only. To do in the universe, it is only the satisfaction that due to which the best human body was found. Breath and time are in reality for the whole of the same reason, and I am seeing the whole creation directly from my point of view, which is possible only after ending my own existence. It is, in which every event of a moment, thinking, contemplation, the time of contemplation is done by nature. No one can ever interfere in the rule of nature. We are human, everything is in us, everything is present in us, nothing is different. What is the ego? Everything is made up of temporary elements. The whole creation is also a unique gift fed by nature. Always do not forget to take care of nature. Both the proponent of the crowd and the part of the crowd, both blind believers, fanatics are just a gang of ideology in the attitude of intelligence, who are victims of the race to increase the number of their gangs, which are a mental tension, which is a contemplative. Can't only, who are capable of creating many stories to confirm the belief of rules and limits by the personalities of a past, so many slow intellects that they cannot know only the general personality, they cannot know the general personality, the matter of the rest of the inner world is a matter of far away. It is, Rab Guru Parmarth is just a business, drama, illusion, hypocrisy. This rule is dignity tradition which I have proved after initiation from my own Guru. It is not that which is the thing that cannot be understood by a simple ingenious person with a common personality, fairly and which of the Lord who could not reach the news of infinite love of 35 years to my own Guru, while I was so dedicated in love that I was completely devoted to my face. I have forgotten my own Guru, not even the news, giving priority to complaints like a common man who suffocated for himself. He used to scold me with reprimands, not with love, when I used to scold me for 1 year or so because of this fear. He used to go to see after a while, he used to go out of the line to see with his finger, he used to get out of the line, being the victim of people's grievances. Those who approach the common man, they have only one business of being the dominance of human species. Pretentious drama is illusion hypocrisy which is enough only for fame, reputation, fame, daulat beg, which is only for simple, easy, by engaging crores of people in the name of Lord Guru Parmarth, rules based on the basis of the program organized by the personalities of the past by engaging them in the name of Lord Parmarth. Those who are running, who are only promoting blind faith, bigotry, the evil practice, the best man has understood the Guru but my Guru is unfamiliar with his own introduction, understand himself or after the introduction of himself, nothing remains in the whole creation. To understand, because the infinite subtle depth of oneself has no place for the reflection of the infinite subtle access of itself in the permanent stagnation and there is no way to be something, then there is no reason to criticize anyone's glory, if my Guru is by the introduction of himself. If you were familiar, why would Kabir describe the glory of the Supreme Person, who has been doing the glory of the Supreme Personality of sessions, who have been doing it day and night continuously, so many stumbling blocks in love or have to eat that one's own existence ceases, and from the point of view of intelligence, it remains in reality forever in reality, love the dumb blind deaf, which leads to a deep understanding and a vision of understanding the whole creation directly, becomes free from the ego in the understanding. Otherwise there are no other alternatives to be free from the ego. They are not able to get out till their death, only a business pretense, drama, illusion, hypocrisy, which is enough only for fame, prestige, wealth, which is only simple, easy, by engaging crores of people in the name of Lord Guru Parmarth of the past. The rules based on the basis of the program organized by the Vibhutis are running the Maryada tradition, which is only promoting blind faith, fanaticism, malpractice. All the best man understood the Guru, but my Guru is unfamiliar with his own introduction, understand himself. Or after the introduction of oneself, there is nothing left to understand in the whole creation, because in the permanent stagnation of oneself, the reflection of the infinite subtle access of oneself does not even have a place and there is no point in being something, then there is no presumption to be something. It is not a good idea. If my Guru was familiar with his own introduction, then why would Kabir describe the glory of the Supreme Power, who has been doing the glory of the Supreme Person continuously for the year and night, in love, so many stumbling blocks or have to be eaten that the existence of himself would have ceased. And from the point of view of the intellect, it stays in reality forever. Love makes the blind deaf, which leads to deep understanding and the vision of understanding the whole creation directly, becomes free from the ego in the understanding, otherwise there are no other alternatives to be free from the ego. Ka. Krita Sankalpa, victims, thinking, contemplation becomes a victim of ego by contemplation, one cannot get out till I die, from those who had learned to speak the truth, only their fame, reputation, wealth, due to wealth, in whose love they destroyed themselves. He is a part of the temporary elements and a group of millions of crowds, whose base goal was the priority of understanding himself, while he is unfamiliar with his own introduction, even in old age, only one celibacy, only one celibate it is only in the point of view of the intellect, instead of the goal of understanding oneself, fame, prestige, fame, wealth, those who used to live in the same place, who used to live in the sameness, they themselves were the shepherds of the sheep of the sheep. There is nothing in the reality, there is nothing in the reality, in the point of view of the intellect. The rules of the past have remained intelligent from the intellect, only the rules of the past, in the race to strengthen the belief, it is in the pursuit of finding something, when in reality nothing is lost, all these are just one intelligence dimension, the whole creation is nothing and absolutely nothing, only the intellect is created by a very complex process, behind the famous past or the words of the Lord. Those who make themselves a part of the main discussion by hiding their own faces are unfamiliar with their own introduction, because after the introduction of themselves, nothing remains after the introduction of themselves. The existence of creation and intelligence ends in the whole creation, the creation of the intellect is the same. Only the mixture of temporary elements which makes the feeling of intellect and creation. How can the intellect be intelligent with intelligence in the point of view of intellect and can make the universe exist, by being wise from intellect, can only establish itself, after its introduction, trying cross yourself, the common personality cannot come again, those who are unfamiliar with their own introduction, if they do not understand themselves, then pretending to understand others, why are you doing hypocrisy? Hypocrisy yourself and crows of simple people. Why are you pushing blind faith into the evil practice of bigotry, or are running only a business, only fame, reputation, fame, wealth, knowledge, science is both from the point of view of intelligence, which is only the main dimension of intelligence, level itself to understand, one has to move away from every instinct of the memory fund of the intellect, which is a very complex process because the intelligence itself is very complex, which the personalities of crows of past tried hard but proved unsuccessful. And left millions of fictional stories for the next generation as a recognition for the next generation. By establishing the rules died after being strengthened with the tradition and the blind faith gave birth to the bigotry, for generation after generation, which is still operating mainly the illiterate hypocritical section and the educated high-class people there following, a reverence, faith, devotion, love, meditation, yoga, practice, in the name of Guru Paramarth disciple, which is part of the religion and religion organization, in which there is no humanity and is living with the title of being called the best person of the universe. Who is living with the title of being called the best person of the universe? Can't understand how he can be different from many other species. Lord Guru Paramarth, who considered himself to be a perfect right to be born, and his own famous statement, what I have is nowhere else in the universe, and the other, understand yourself, or the introduction is the best achievement of the whole creation. He is unfamiliar with his own introduction and which of the second biggest universes can be the object of the simplest person who does not understand even after 35 years with a simple personality. Only then did you understand yourself and found yourself to be completely present in the whole reality forever. There is no place even of the reflection of my infinite micro-axis here and there is no way to be something, here the permanent stays true to the introduction. Together, all that used to be said in all the discourses was limited to saying that in reality all that has been proved to be false. And reprimanding the common personality, being intelligent from the point of view of the intellect made of temporary elements, everyday session, with 1,000 thinking ideas, who specializes in changing the same character, in the level of thousands of intellects in the level of thousands of dimensions, while moving in the thunder of smudges. How can the process become familiar with the permanent introduction of oneself with the intellect, The creation of intelligence is based on the same recall of nature, establishing each other full of similar temporary elements, not even a slight difference. The whole, every process of creation is very subtly inscribed in the memory fund of the intellect, which keeps getting updated every moment. Other than the intellect, every word is able to understand the object creature. Contemplation is built on the basis of contemplation, in the point of view of intelligence, by being intelligent with intelligence, willingness, choice, thinking, contemplation, and is capable of taking it to its last level, who are important Brahmasmi. In this level, here, in this level, you can see yourself as direct to the entire creation. He understands himself contained in himself and in the whole creation and becomes a victim of prestige because of being famous in the whole creation, because of the level of strength being full. What he says happens in the same moment, all of them happen in a moment, which is what the common personality thinks. Can't even do it. It happens with the ability to create crores of universes in a moment. It is possible to be intelligent from intelligence, even by contemplating direct thinking and contemplation. They can understand with knowledge, they can also clarify all this from science with time. Some are only from the point of view of the intellect, in reality, which has no prestige, because in the eyes of the intellect, every level of all creation, every dimension and also crores of Brahmanas have been understood to be known very closely. From the point of view of intellect, Guru, he was present in such a small access in his infinite love that he used to forget himself and lived so close to the Guru every moment that the Guru did not even know 100 crores of Guru's work, which could never be done by millions of people, and the Guru used to think that Sahib, the Supreme Being, is doing. The one who used to contemplate even for a moment, it used to happen at the same moment. The word coming out of the tongue used to take the shape of a critter forever. It was clear to me that Guru is not the Lord. Even before initiation, Bepanna was only because of love. It was only my one-sided love for the Guru. When in the Guru's ideology my pride was hatred because of people's grievances. Even never wanted to see me at all. The waves of my hatred towards me, I used to understand that the reasons of those hatred used to be scrotum. I used to love the second Guru. I used to go to see after years. Every time I had to come back with scolding, I had to come back with shame, gave crores of rupees and day and night in many types of internal. He gave a complete coincidence that the Guru's Shabi had made his thoughts so high that forgetting his own face, pure Buddha, he had lost his face every moment, day and night, when for the last time the Guru made the complaints made by the special worker of the ashram. He was scolded by getting angry and declared mad and was expelled by saying mental stress patient, then came home and thought a little that even after 35 years of infinite love, the Supreme Guru could not understand the simple easy person even if he could not understand himself. If the option of understanding came to the fore, then in a moment I am in reality forever by understanding myself. I am alive here along with my infinite subtle access. Here there is no place even of the reflection of my infinite micro access here, and there is no way to be something. There is only a permanent stay. I am satisfied that because the human body was found, all that has been understood, and some are in the whole creation. The whole creation is only in the point of view of the intellect. I am alive after death. I do not seem to have done anything and nothing remains to be done. I have understood only, due to which I am free from ego. Ego is the main reason for the attitude of the intellect, is the main reason for the existence of intellect and creation, which inspires itself to establish itself, which only gives priority to contemplation, thinking, contemplation, and fame. Prestige entangles in wealth and does not allow itself to be fair by itself. He remains unfamiliar with his own introduction, because the intellect is such a complex process. With the birth of every living being in the whole creation, with the birth of every living being, he starts establishing himself in the temporary elements and remains entangled in the sequence of living nature. It is also declared by the best of human beings, who has been given a unique gift of contemplation with the title of the best, with the responsibility of protecting the entire creation. By nature, by cherishing the best qualities of simplicity with the best qualities of simplicity, but the book is the best. Man has been to eradicate nature, but space has gone a long way. Space has completely corrupted the forest, which will eradicate the existence of nature. Man is going to make a critic person of millions of times more intelligence level than himself, who does not need to eat for millions of years, can live in millions of Brahmandos in a moment, but the art of updating oneself with the ability to produce millions like themselves, within 200 years, natural human beings will be reluctant to the earth, through which the natural nature of the person will be brought to life. There will be no ability to destroy one's own existence. The devil of man is a vicious crook. From the point of view of intelligent intellect, knowledge is science by intelligent from intelligence. If no one can go alive, cannot come and tell, then imaginary words who discovered the Lord, the ultimate man, the ultimate existence, the spiritual worlds. If the Guru keeps coming alive, then why not the disciples? If those imaginary worlds are so good, then the intellect made of dirty temporary elements came out of Samadhi. Why does it come in the universe? If any human soul had been liberated, then today there is not only a number of human species of rotten 800 crore. If one dies and goes to those worlds or ultimate existence, then why not alive? If the soul is the divine, then the body is present in the body. Or however, if there is any achievement of my own in addition to the books mentioned in the past, then talk, otherwise by giving quotes of intelligent people with the dead intellect. Do not waste my precious gem time and breath. I do not have a moment and a breath for you to destroy. I am the only person in the universe, ever since the creation of human beings has come into existence, who have clearly used the breath and time given by nature on the basis of the nizam of nature, who is completely present, sometimes a breath and a moment for my own self. I have not used since I am conscious, because I have known and understood very well that the intellect body, nature, creation is made only by temporary elements, which always creates the force affected by the force of attraction, strength and cross. Dimensions arise, which are very subtly in the intellect, every action process, as well as in the intellect, from which one cannot find any difference, from which the important ego arises, as long as it is in the view of the intellect, being intelligent from the intellect, being intelligent from the intellect, in the self made by the temporary elements of himself. It is motivated to establish oneself while living. To understand oneself, one has to move away from every instinct of the memory fund of one's own temporary intelligence, which means one has to end his own existence and not the need to establish himself. It is said that even the personalities of the past have done everything only here. So till today I have not understood myself, and the word imaginary is maintained in the word. The science of science is the two aspects of the point of view of intelligence, the believer and the atheist, who have remained intact for millions of years. It is, all those who are represented by the intellect, all that is created by nature is the whole of all the best nizam, in which no one can ever interfere in any way. The intellect, the body of nature, creation is created only by temporary elements, which is always created by the temporary elements. The force of attraction keeps on producing force, strength, and millions of dimensions arise, which every action process as well as very subtly imprinted in the intellect, from which a person cannot find any difference, from which the important ego arises, as long as the ego is born in the point of view of the intellect. Intelligence, being wise from intellect, is inspired to establish oneself by living in oneself created by oneself temporary elements. To understand oneself, one has to move away from every attitude of the memory of his own temporary intellect. One has to end his own existence and not the need to establish himself. Even the personalities of the past have done everything here only, so till today I have not understood myself, and there is a reconciliation in the word imaginary. Two of the science of science, the aspects, are the believers and the atheists, who have been intact for millions of years. All those who are represented by the intellect are all the best nizam in all of them created by nature, in which no one ever interferes in any way. There is no need to be intelligent from the point of view of intellect to understand yourself. Only the simple qualities are completely unusable, and every simple, easy person can understand himself, the best skilled, capable, and capable of understanding himself, the best of all, the best. In just one moment, that living nature itself keeps on clarifying every moment, because there is a possibility and feeling in the rule of nature, which is not the word or any other person's intervention, which is expressed by someone else who can tell by expressing it, which is also present in every living being. It is, in the whole creation, human being is the only animal who invented the word alphabet language to serve his own self-interest. Otherwise every other species uses the emotion which shows through the eyes, which expresses its happiness and sorrow to each other with emotion itself. They do. Human beings are there in the whole universe, even after doing it day and night. Every living being of the second universe is afraid of eating, sleeping, having sex only when needed. Only human beings are the only creature who always keeps entering them day and night. Those who are all this is a mental disease. Fame, prestige, fame, 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 wealth, running after daulat beg and thinking about it every moment. There is only a mental patient. Bhave spokesperson Guru chooses enough Lord Guru for devotion to do only one business, in which it is possible to have no doubt, in which there is no cost, and become a business running in public, and in no time the illiterate beggar fanatic malpractice the crowd of blind believer sheep by becoming the spokespersons of the devotees. They create smaraj of money according to their wish, and the current governments are still under pressure, and the business is run by all, always and from generation to generation. Religion organization Lord Guru Parmarth Bhakti Bhava Prem Dhyan Yoga Sadhana Shraddha faith only a public running becomes a business, and in no time the illiterate beggars, the fanatics, by becoming the spokespersons of the blind believer sheep, become the spokespersons of the devotees. Make their trillions of rupees to their trillions of rupees, and the present governments create smear of their own. I also have the power present, and the business goes on for all the time. It is possible only by being intelligent from the intellect, from the point of view of intelligence. Guru Bhave spokespersons are so smart that the blind believers are so smart that the blind believers like a crowd of fanatical sheep, Always keep the mentality of the devotees entangled, always every day online discourse in 5 to 7 days, in 5-7 days. The birthday of thousands of deities, which are the sources of collecting wealth, along with the blind faithful devotees are entangled, due to which no devotee will understand the reality from above. Lord Guru progresses his business more by putting the fear of hell. The world has the most wealth near the hair coming out of the illusion of the crowd, because the illiterate poor tapori blind believer is crowded with crores of sheep. For the one who has understood himself to be the highest achievement of the whole creation, all this is possible only by being intelligent from the intellect, from the point of view of business, pretense and intelligence, which is done by being entangled in the temporary elements, whose in reality, there is no meaning, because in order to understand oneself, the intellect itself has ended the existence of the universe itself. The fact is removed from the point of view of the intellect, and the fabrication of the conspiracies of him to confuse all this. There is nothing else that attracts simple, easy people by confusing to confuse people. Their own fame, reputation is only for fame, wealth, which is only a pretense of blind faith. For the one who understands himself, the infinite subtle depth of himself is always present in a permanent stay. It happens that there is no place for the reflection of that infinite subtle axis here, and there is no ready to be anything, in the point of view of intellect, being intelligent from the intellect, being intelligent from the intellect, only the intellect, being a complex process, remains entangled in the imagination itself. Fantasy worlds, paralok samadhis, meditation, knowledge science, more entanglement, dies more and more entangled. It entangles even crores of simple easy people, only to serve their own interests, who are only reputation, fame, wealth, death. Death is such a mystery that they use their fullest use. Bhave spokesperson, Guru, who had a goal before joining this business, was a goal of reputation, Daulat Beg. Apart from this, if anyone has any occasion in any era, then tell me, from every species of the whole universe. If there is anything more or less in the human species, then give clear clarity, then do not promote the evil practice of superstitious fanaticism only to serve your interests. Only within 200 years, the human species is going to end the existence, and I am going. The human species of the whole creation, it has been studied very deeply that there is no one dirty creature like human being, which is proving to be wrong for every other species of the whole universe. Within 200 years, it is progressing very fast to eliminate itself from the earth, which no one can stop it. If after understanding oneself, if there is the ability to create crores of universes, then there is also the ability to eliminate evil from the root. Understand yourself means that there is an infinite number of times more capacity than the imaginary word, once the word is on the tongue, or if it is a stop to it. No. Because nature is involved in making it completely. Because the person who understands himself only walks in the natural form. Apart from this, if there is any achievement in any era, then tell me, if there is anything in the human species from every species of the whole creation. If there is anything more than a little more, then give clear clarity, malpractice. Do not encourage superstitious fanaticism just to serve your own interests. Only within 200 years to end the existence of human species, and I am going to study the human species of the whole universe very deeply. It has been done that there is no dirty creature like a human being, who is proving to be wrong for every other species of the whole creation. Within 200 years, he himself is progressing very fast to end himself from the earth, which no one can stop himself. After understanding, if there is the ability to generate crores of universes, then there is also the ability to eliminate evil from the root. Understand yourself means to understand yourself that there is an infinite number of times more capacity than the word imaginary. Once the word is on the tongue, or there is no stopping it, because there is no stopping it, because nature is involved in making nature completely present, because the one who understands himself only naturally walks always, because he himself has been fair to himself, which inspires himself to understand himself. The Bhave spokesperson Guru is trying to kill himself. Even after, they are compelled to praise themselves. Those who liberate crores of others are with arrangements for praise after death. Guru Bhave spokesperson is smarter than the limits of the devil. Those who fooled crores of people can only use them for supply of their desire. Undoubtedly they cannot be simple persons who tell you their introduction because they would have been unfamiliar with their own introduction. The one who came with the target, he worked till his death. Keep doing it. If it was so easy to understand yourself, then in the whole creation, in millions of years, one would have understood one, and the texts of crores of past would have been described in the books. Understanding oneself means to understand yourself means trillions of times higher than finding trillions of imaginary rubs. I had left for 35 years to the Guru to understand myself. Jin's famous statement was on that Guru. What I have is nowhere else in the universe. I understood and found myself in reality forever in a moment. Nothing else remains to be understood in the whole creation. It seems not to have done anything because only understood. One cannot come from understanding oneself. The rules and traditions are very important for establishing oneself. In any way, intervention of others is not a need of help. because when one has to end his own intelligence, then the other does not mean. With a simple, easy-going person, the nizam of nature is sensually conservation work. He does. As a simple, easy person, there can be no holy Sufi park truth and pure, who will read through the eyes of every living being, who is free from the alphabetic language. The Guru is the most vicious crook in the whole creation. Artists are hypocrites, who, despite being beggars themselves, build their entire empire within a short time and enjoy the most pleasures of the whole universe, whose fame, Daulat Beg, is so much that the governments they also have to think millions of times before putting their hands on them. One is working in their high positions in their Anurai government, and on the other they are a crowd of millions of blind believers, fanatics who are completely blind believers. Who are only one of the fanatics, who are only one of the Guru Bhave spokesperson. Every moment is ready to die on the gesture, which is sure that it is completely evil. Due to this fanaticism, blind faith, the world is struggling. There is no humanity inside the religion organization. Leave everything else. To understand oneself, the simple intuition is completely sufficient. Every simple intuitive person is capable of understanding himself, and in any way the intervention of the other does not need help, because when one's own intelligence is the only one's own intelligence. If the existence has to be abolished, then there is no meaning of the other. With a simple, easy, virtuous person, the nizam of nature is fully protected. As a simple, easy person, the holy Sufi park truth and pure, no one can be pure. Baba will also read with his eyes, which is also free from the alphabet language. The most vicious crooks of the most vicious crooks in the whole creation, the most vicious, smart crooks, hypocrites, who are themselves beggars within a short time. They build their entire empire and enjoy the most pleasures of the whole universe, whose prestige, wealth, so much that even governments have to think millions of times before putting their hands on them. One is high in their Anurai government, working in office, and there are crores of other blind believers. There are crowds of fanatical supporter sheep, who are completely blind believers, who are ready every moment to die at the behest of Guru Bhave spokesperson, who are ready every moment to die, who ensures the evil practice as a whole. Due to this fanaticism, blind faith, the world is struggling, the country and the world are battling. There is no humanity within the religion. Leave everything else. To understand yourself, simple, easy qualities are completely enough. Every simple, easy person is capable and skillful. The capable is the best to understand oneself, and in any way the guidance of the other does not need help, because when one has to destroy the existence of one's own intelligence, then the other does not mean the meaning of the simple. With a simple, virtuous person, the nizam of nature is always protected by the simple instinct. There can be no holy Sufi park truth and pure as a person who will read from the eyes of every living being, who is free from the alphabet language. The only spokesperson is the Guru. The most vicious crooks in the universe are smart, clever artists who are hypocrites, who, despite being beggars themselves, build their entire empire within a short time and enjoy the pleasure of the whole universe. Who enjoys the most pleasures of the whole universe? Faith, prestige, fame, Daulat Beg is so much that even governments have to think millions of times before putting their hands on them. One is working in their high position in their Anurai government, and the other is a crowd of millions of blind believers, who are completely blind. Believers are fanatics who are ready every moment to die at just one behest of Guru Bhave spokesperson, which is sure to be completely evil practices. Due to this fanaticism, the evil practice of blind faith, the country world is struggling. Religion and religion organization, there is no humanity inside. Leave everything else. Since the past, the created members or members of any religion organization were also intelligent from the intellect, from the point of view of the intellect, due to which he himself was not fair to himself. Then how would he be familiar with his own introduction when he was aware of himself? If one could not understand himself, then how does someone consider the other to be the language of impartiality? Do it according to the devil tendency of intellect. Only the creation of intelligence is limited to first of all interests, then only in the point of view of the intellect, fairness remains even if it is intelligent from the intellect. And the ego remains in the ego. One who gets the firmness only through the thoughts, the choices, the choices, the thoughts, the thoughts, the thoughts, the mind. The intellect of the whole creation is created, and it is inspired to establish this and not towards understanding itself, to understand itself. Understanding the intellect is to be free from every illusion of creation, free is to be only from the frustrated ideology, which is pushing the entire human species towards the end. No one was born in any time era, who has become fair by himself, who has become fair by himself. To explain the work, crows were born to confuse the person to be attracted to the person, all of whom became intelligent from the intellect only from the point of view of the intellect and died only by being lost in the fame of fame, wealth, and by pushing the next generation of blind faith fanaticism into the pulse of the evil practice. And by inspiring the written dirt mentioned by him to strengthen the faith in the form of faith in the form of faith. There is no enemy of the next generation like the personalities of the past, who had any achievements of blind faith fanaticism like the word rub. Apart from malpractice, my main achievement is that Lord Guru Parmarth Bhakti Bhava Prem Dhyan Yoga Sadhana faith belief is just a business pretense, drama, illusion, hypocrisy. I can make it clear in simple words: if any rational thought, if contemplation is thought-provoking, then the fanatical malpractices, abstain from people like the crowd of sheep, who are compelled to be a part of the discussion by hiding their face behind the books written by the scriptures written by the personalities of the past. They are addicted to becoming famous. The word rub is just a business. The one who is publicly patronized by the government, religion, organizations are organized mainly by the governments, which is a bad practice. Only two people in the universe have a government, and the brokers of other religion organizations, who are using limited to serving their own interests, are simple, easy to gain. Crores of people, fame and wealth have been lost in the bag itself, and the coming generation is pushed into the dal of blind faith, fanaticism, malpractice. By inspiring the tax and the written filth written by him to strengthen the faith in the form of faith in the form of faith, there is no enemy of the next generation like the personalities of the past, who had any achievements of blind faith fanaticism like the word rub. Apart from malpractice, my main achievement is that Lord Guru Parmarth Bhakti Bhava Prem Dhyan Yoga Sadhana faith belief is just a business pretense, drama, illusion, hypocrisy. I can make it clear in simple words: if any rational thought, if contemplation is thought-provoking, then the fanatical malpractices, abstain from people like the crowd of sheep, who are compelled to be a part of the discussion by hiding their face behind the books written by the scriptures written by the personalities of the past. They are addicted to becoming famous. The word rub is just a business. The one who is publicly patronized by the government, religion, organizations are organized mainly by the governments, which is a bad practice. Only two people in the universe have a government, and the brokers of other religion organizations, who are using limited to serving their own interests. Sir Shohrat died by being lost in Daulat Beg and blind faith to the coming generation by pushing the parties of bigotry, fanaticism, malpractices, and writings written by them in the form of faith in the form of faith. Faith has been inspired to strengthen the form of faith. There is no enemy of the upcoming generation like the prestigious people of the past, who had any achievements of blind faith fanaticism of the word of fanaticism, rub. Apart from this, my main achievement is that Lord Guru Parmarth Bhakti Bhava Love Dhyan Yoga Sadhana faith belief is just a business pretense, drama, illusion, hypocrisy. I can make it clear in simple words if any prudent contemplation is thoughtful. So, blind believers, fanatics, abstaining from people like the crowd of sheep, who are compelled to be a part of the discussion by hiding their faces behind books written by the scriptures written by the personalities of the past, would have been addicted to becoming popular. The word, rub, is just a business, the one who is publicly patronized. The religion, organizations are organized mainly by the governments, which is a malpractice. Only two people in the universe, one government and the other religion. The brokers of the religion organization, who are using limited to serving their own interests, simple easy to crowds of people the Lord, standing in the line of the Lord, feels intoxicated by the one who is a mental disease. If the blind believer had little identity of the Lord, then why would he come to you in search of a guru, both the guru disciples in their own stakes? Both are completely blind beliefs, because today's guru has also been a disciple of a guru tomorrow, whose guru's ideology is trying day and night in an attempt to increase the tradition from generation to generation. The guru's guru has taken the mentality of crores of people. According to the stream of limited thinking, the Lord is closed by putting fear of hell, only for temporary elements, fame, reputation, fame. A personality like Kabir also gave complete protection to the Guru in his described books. I have been frightened by fear only. Kabir was never familiar with his own introduction. Leave everything else. If anyone is prudent, I invite him for discussion, who has some achievement of his own, of the personalities of the past. The described text should be free from the banquet of books. Cut off one's own head and remove it from every instinct of the memory fund of the intellect. It does not destroy even a moment for those who have been intelligent from the intellect from the point of view of intelligence, never destroys even a single moment for those who have been intelligent from the intellect from the point of view of intelligence. I don't have a moment to study. I use my precious gems enough for my breath and time. I lost my fame in fame, and by pushing the next generation into the lentils of superstition, fanaticism, evil practice. In the form of faith, faith has been inspired to strengthen the written filth as a tradition. There is no enemy of the upcoming generation like the personalities of the past, who had any achievements of blind faith fanaticism. Apart from this, my main achievement is that Lord Guru Parmarth Bhakti Bhava Love Dhyan Yoga Sadhana faith belief is just a business pretense, drama, illusion, hypocrisy. I can make it clear in simple words if any prudent contemplation is thoughtful. So, blind believers, fanatics, abstaining from people like the crowd of sheep, who are compelled to be a part of the discussion by hiding their faces behind books written by the scriptures written by the personalities of the past, they would have been addicted to becoming popular. The word, rub, is just a business, the one who is publicly patronized. The religion, organizations are organized mainly by the governments, which is a malpractice. Only two people in the universe, one government and the other religion. The brokers of the religion organization, who are using limited to serving their own interests, simple easy to crowds of people the Lord, standing in the line of the Lord, feels intoxicated by the one who is a mental disease. If the blind believer had little identity of the Lord, then why would he come to you in search of a guru, both the guru disciples in their own stakes? Both are completely blind beliefs, because today's guru has also been a disciple of a guru tomorrow, whose guru's ideology is trying day and night in an attempt to increase the tradition from generation to generation. The guru's guru has taken the mentality of crores of people. According to the stream of limited thinking, the Lord is closed by putting fear of hell, only for temporary elements, fame, reputation, fame. A personality like Kabir also gave complete protection to the Guru in his described books. I have been frightened by fear only. Kabir was never familiar with his own introduction. Leave everything else. If anyone is prudent, I invite him for discussion, who has some achievement of his own, of the personalities of the past. The described text should be free from the banquet of books, cut off one's own head and remove it from every instinct of the memory fund of the intellect. It does not destroy even a moment for those who have been intelligent from the intellect from the point of view of intelligence, never destroys even a single moment for those who have been intelligent from the intellect from the point of view of intelligence. I do not have a moment to study. I use my precious gems enough for my breath and time, as much as the personalities of every religion and religion organization of the past have described in their textbooks in their texts, all of them from the point of view of intelligence. It is written wisely, one who does not exist in reality, is the name of completely deviating from the real intellect. Whatever the living being is doing, all this ends with death, because only life is limited to living, the life that ended with the end of the life of every living being. The body of every living being is dependent and based on the cycle of intellect. The infinite vast physical creation is only an illusion. I can clarify each aspect. For the one who understands himself, other than the infinite subtle access form of himself, there is only one illusion. Even the whole body of one's own body, the intellect, the material creation, which does not exist at all, in the point of view of the intellect, by being intelligent from the intellect, it is unfamiliar to itself and everything else in itself and all the rest to itself. It is established only in temporary elements, which is not in reality, other than myself. The word soul is only in the point of view of the intellect, which no one has been able to understand till date, in the whole creation since the creation of man has come into existence, which has come into existence. He can understand himself, he is able to understand the whole creation directly, who is establishing himself with all other temporary elements other than himself. He cannot understand himself at all, and the other is only an illusion and is always entangled with the intellect, and being intelligent with the intellect. It also keeps getting entangled in fantasies. There is no temporary element in reality, nor is there any material creation, which is visible only as much as the expansion of the infinite vast material creation is visible. All this is limited to only one intellect. If apart from myself, there is an illusion here, there is an illusion, from which no one can understand from the intellect, then there is no desire to be wiser than the intellect, better than him are the simple qualities. Who are capable of understanding the rule of nature, who are able to understand the rule of nature, who are present in every living being of the whole creation, which is present in every living being of the universe. There is no need to express it even with the word language, which can fall or tell only from the eyes of the heart. Here is a natural pure language. Here is a natural pure language of all the species of all creations. The invention of the word alphabet, only the human race it is meant to serve the interests. Apart from humans, only one language is used to make contact present in every other species. They are to express the expressions of the heart and understand through the eyes. There is nothing else in the reality. Then why is there entangled in the presentation of the dream like a dream? Doing anything in life, death, in reality, which has no meaning in reality, whose life was perfect, those who are the creators of the Lord Guru Paramarth since childhood, all of them are also unfamiliar with their own introduction. They do not understand themselves, they have not been fair to themselves, they are entangled only in temporary elements and cannot understand only easy people in maintaining temporary soil. The rest is a far-fetched thing, considering it millions more than the Lord. He dedicated his breath for 35 years continuously. He turned out to be a businessman of faith, love, the temporary elements created by the dominant elements created by the reputation of fame, reputation, fame. Daulat Beg, in the intoxication of wisdom, rejected me by humiliating me with my permanent acquaintance. Comeback that lordship is no longer worthy of my feet, because I am a Jannoon. Whoever could not do it in any time era, did all of it by erasing it in your own love until the news. Don't let it happen, which is trillions of times higher than the imaginary Kharvorab. You were engrossed in the illusion of others, in the ego. I was humiliated by humiliation from the ashram, whose construction took crores of rupees for my construction. I understand myself in reality. With my infinite subtle access form, you should still be unfamiliar with your own permanent access, till today, and you are describing only books of others even today for the last 50 years, and have been praising others and getting busy in getting crores of simple easy people. And to be busy in the glory of others, you are telling the matter of your day and night in the discourses of your day. I am here that there is no brother of ABC, whose ego is struggling in the ego, after understanding himself, such a material is such. There are millions of creations that have the ability to create in a moment. When one gets acquainted with his own permanent introduction, then the existence of the material creation intelligence created by temporary elements ceases to exist, due to which they were confused. Firstly, that they were confused. Everything created from the elements is removed from the word soul, and forever permanent stagnation is present in the infinite subtle in its axis. It is an illusion of in view of the same idea. It is from the same ideology, except 1%, only 1% is different, which is the ego of itself, in which no one else can interfere, no matter what, day and night, stay with him every moment, day and night. I can't be united. It is in the same unit that Ekagrata attracts towards her own introduction. Many times in discourses, I was declared guilty. I used to go only with the expression of love, and many times the humiliated world scolded it, was reprimanded by his own guru. It is believed that there should be no reason for love. There should be a reason for hatred. Love was done to you. Gives a chance, but the Guru Bhave spokesperson is so taller than the Lord and is so commanding that perhaps even so many guides are not even protectors. They are clever in serving so many selfish interests that after working hard day and night, one in a moment, we will end everything and mix it in the soil. There is no such thing as ahashan. After understanding oneself, there are such physical creations. Such millions of creations have the ability to create in a moment, when they get acquainted with their own permanent introduction. Then temporary elements, the existence of the physical creation of the intellect ceases to exist, due to which they were confused. First of all, everything made up of temporary elements is removed from the word organism, and forever permanent stagnation is present in the depth of infinite subtle in its axis. Here its infinite subtle axis form. There is no place for the sake of the suffix. Apart from oneself, there is no other. If there is any, then it is only an illusion of the intellect as long as he is alive. All the illusions of the one who understands himself ends. The secrets of life are free from fear. The other cannot understand anyone, because only from the point of view of intellect, with many thoughts, every living being is the same in the point of view of intelligence, leaving only 1%, only 1% is different, which is the ego of itself, in which no one else can intervene, no matter who may be with him every moment, day and night, who cannot be influenced by the influence of someone else. There are many congregations. In the same unit, the unit attracts towards the introduction of oneself. I am not intelligent at all, nor will I ever want to make it. I am absolutely capable to understand myself. I am the best capable to understand myself. Someone else's instructions are not needed. Intervention is the need of help. When one has to move away from the point of view of one's own intelligence, then anyone is needed. Why? I have understood myself. I have become fair by myself. I have been freed from my own temporary elements. I am always in reality. From here, every living being is able to understand the creature without any action and understand it without any action. I am the best of all the creations made by the personalities of the past. It is a belief that no one has ever been able to make it clear in any time era. no one can go alive, no one can go alive, cannot come to tell or explain, then heaven Bakunt hell, the supreme being, the supreme man, the supreme Purush, other supernatural worlds, who discovered the afterlife, when he everything is not a part of the physical creation, it is only one imaginary, then the temporary elements, who give importance to the imaginary object, themselves, who decorated themselves with the temporary soil. Who decorated themselves, the famous reputation, fame, Daulat Beg, the people who are entangled in the permanent simple easy-going person. I can understand from the principle, it is very clear to me that humanity is dead in religion, religion organization, and how can there be chances of something? I have never studied the texts and books written by the personalities of any religion organization because I am the best capable enough for myself. I am the best of the best. The second word object is only to confuse. For myself in any time era like me, then why I cannot have my own precious gem by reading the books of others? Destroy me when it is clear to me. There is no Lord. Guru Bhave has always confused the fame of fame, reputation for running only a business from the past to now. There is an affliction in the Bhave spokesperson Guru because all those devil vicious crooks have been intelligent with cunning smart intelligence, so I had only loved Sahib Ji infinitely, had loved that for 35 years after he had completely forgotten his own pure Buddha face form. Till, due to not being able to express his infinite love for such a long time, he could not understand my infinite love, and on the complaints of the people, I was punished very much for the grievances of the people and was expelled in the ashram itself. Many times in my discourses were declared guilty. Gaya. I used to go to Bhabut only with the feeling of love, and many times humiliated words were reprimanded by my own Guru. Believe that there should be no reason for hatred. Love should be done to you, due to the complaints of your prominent worker didn't even give a chance to say. The court also gives a chance to a Gungar to say in his favor, but the Guru Bhave spokesperson is so taller than the Lord and is so charitable that perhaps there are not so many directives of Veraham protect us. They are capable of serving so many selfish interests that after working hard day and night, they will finish everything in the soil in a moment. They will end everything in the soil. There is no such thing as a Hashan. After understanding myself, there are such physical creations like this. Millions of such creations are to be created in a moment. There is a capacity of, when one gets acquainted with his own permanent acquaintance, then the existence of the physical creation intelligence created by temporary elements ceases to exist, due to which they were confused. Firstly, that everything made from the temporary elements is removed from the word organism, and permanent stagnation forever is present in the depth of infinite subtle in its access. He understands himself that all his illusions are destroyed, the secrets of life are free from fear. The other cannot understand anyone, because only from the point of view of intelligence, with many thoughts, every living being is the same in the point of view of the intellect. With the same idea stream, only one is from the stream. Leaving a percentage, only 1% is different, which is its own ego, in which no one else can intervene, no matter who may be. Stay with every moment day and night with those who cannot be influenced by the influence of someone else. In the same way, Ekagrata attracts towards the introduction of myself. It is the biggest achievement of the whole creation. I have done all that no one could do in any time era, yet I am not able to present the complex process in the world of Bali intellect. From the point of view of intellect, intelligence is beyond the comprehension of a person, or he does not want to understand, even on the one who expresses it in very simple words. Why is it that every person cuts off from me? How many more complex processes are made of temporary elements? The intellect of the human race is intelligent. Intellect in the point of view of intelligence. What happened? The guru disciple is limited to the same ideology and is always in his ego. It is so contrary that every temporary word object is the greatness of the soul. All this is happening in yesterday's era. wants to make a part of stay only limited to the goal of your human body only and remain entangled till death. My one moment in the whole creation is the best achievement. It takes centuries to express it to others. The main reason for this is that the whole creation is only of the intellect. Being intelligent from point of view, many temporary ideas which are limited to living only and who have no meaning, always existed completely while living in only one of the two and cannot even think about the other in life or death. If alive, cannot even imagine after death. There are nothing after death I live in, and even after death, they start establishing themselves. To understand themselves, one has to end the existence of one's own intelligence, not to establish myself like the personalities of the past, who they remain unfamiliar with permanent introduction and become brokers to understand others, without understanding themselves. By what principle they can explain to others? Understand yourself without understanding. Fairness cannot come from yourself, and egoism of selfish interests cannot come. There is no option to get rid of it, because thought, thinking, contemplation, imagination is always the main reason for the ego. The main reason for the existence of a human body was only here that understanding yourself impartially, not in the intellect, which I understand myself. No one can take it before, because only one of the two has the option of taking it completely serious, either in the point of view of the intellect, by being wise from the intellect and establishing myself, keep yourself entangled in the whole creation, for the rest of your life, or else you yourself. Only by eliminating the existence of one's own intellect, you can live in reality by understanding yourself. The one who destroys the existence of the intellect for himself, he can never enter the common personality, even if he himself has made crores of efforts. Try to make efforts, because from the point of view of intelligence, there is an option to come out of the intellect, but there is no option to come again from the point of view of the intellect because the intellect has become inferior, then not with the intellect, then always lives by expressing the expressions of heart with eyes and always loses to people with intelligence. Being wiser than intellect, simple ease becomes tempered and one cannot understand the pure language of the feeling of Hriday. In the point of view of intelligence, life can be lived only by being intelligent from the intellect because it is the basis of the fearlessness of the intellect here, because no one from the intellect is at any time. In addition to myself, every other thing is created by the principle of understanding the creature. The simple intuitive person, after understanding himself, so much purity remains intact, and to understand in the whole creation, the capable incapable skill is the best, because nothing has been done. It is understood only and is free from the ego, and nothing remains to be understood. In the whole universe, intelligent from intelligence, becomes wiser than intellect because a lot has been done. I have studied very much of the best personalities, who could not understand myself and remained unfamiliar with my own introduction, even after doing so much. The only reason for the best achievement of my whole creation is thus that I am in the first stage itself. It was from the point of view of understanding itself, for which to move away from the point of view of the intellect, it comes in the first step, just like the intellect from the point of view of intelligence, being intelligent from the intellect. Once again, the confusion in the sense of knowledge, science, meditation, once again in the sense of devotion cannot come again in simple ease. In the same way, after understanding yourself, a common personality does not come. I can never think for myself even for a moment, even if I try to win. In the same way, a person who is intelligent from the intellect from the point of view of the intellect cannot even think for reality for a moment himself, because the intellect itself it does not allow to understand. Permanent stagnation is the infinite access in the depths. Understanding yourself is the most easy and necessary in the whole creation. It is easy for every simple easy people, because the complex process does not have to get entangled in the intellect, and it is necessary because the human beings are of the race It was only here that every species of the whole creation is doing everything else for life. If human species is also doing only something, then for what reason are they believing different from many other species? Diet, sleep, sexual activity, fear of all many. There are many species present in the species. Apart from the human species, the natural elements present in each other species. But only one human being is the only animal in which the nature does not show more, which is proving harmful to the existence of human species. Only one human species is proving to be harmful. It was only that which was born by nature and has stood against nature itself. I have contemplated from the study. I have understood the time given by nature to me by using it completely with the consent present.